If your summer plans include a trip to one of this country's 63 national parks, brace yourself for long lines, dirty bathrooms, and overflowing trash cans. We are just days away from peak season, and employees and park advocates say the Trump administration's cuts have put parks in crisis, hampering key services and forcing the closure of iconic destinations. The National Parks Conservation Association says the administration slashed 13% of park staff in just the last 5 months, even as tourism surges, with a record 331 million visitors to park sites last year. Joining us now, Colorado Democratic Senator and member of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee, John Hickenlooper, who is joining us from Estes Park. And, I mean, that backdrop is not to be believed. So, Senator, your state is home to one of the 5 most popular national parks in the country, Rocky Mountain, and many others, I should say. What are you hearing about the situation in your parks?
Well, I think they're going to do everything they can. These are professionals, but they've already lost 13% of staffing, and a lot of that's in Washington and kind of regional district managers, but a lot of it is rank and file as well. And they've lost that already. And in the House budget, their cuts are, another $267 million for park staffing needs. So the culmination, the aggregation of all that together is bad news. I mean, we'll get through it. I think people should go to the parks. For many people, these are cathedrals where we gather and regain our spiritual center. We need that now more than ever for many reasons, but we won't. I mean, I think the bathrooms won't be as clean. I think the organizing crowds and making sure you don't have people every which way getting in each other's way. The experience won't be quite as good as it was before, but it'll still be amazing. Like places like this, I mean, you can't do any better.
When proposing the funding cuts to our national parks, one of the arguments that the Trump administration made was that money could be saved by moving some of the responsibility of some of the smaller parks to states. Could that be a way to do it so that major parks like Rocky Mountain wouldn't be hit as hard? Or does that not make sense to you?
Well, I think that's a huge change that should be really thought about. I believe, I was a governor for 8 years out here, and I believe that states are the laboratories of democracy. But you don't just shoot from the hip and say, all right, we're going to take all these small parks and give them to states and hope it works out. This is something that needs to be reflected, thought about. Our national park system is the envy of the world. Many people call it America's greatest idea. And it's this notion that, when generation after generation have come out here. Teddy Roosevelt came out here and was blown away by the beauty of it. And each generation comes out is equally captivated by what they see. And we need to make sure we're protecting that forever. Our small parks are no less important. And so we want to make sure if we transfer them to the states, there's a real close a close study, that they thought about, that there's a plan, and that someone's monitoring and holding everybody accountable so that we maintain these incredibly high standards so they don't become if too many people go through and they become over-visited, which we see sometimes at the big parks, without the right staff, without the remediation, the trails begin to deteriorate, the lodging gets kind of funky, all kinds of negative consequences come from that overcrowding.
Well, let's talk about the opposite of the costs, because costs are legitimate. It's part of government, should be looking at how much money gets spent. What do parks bring in?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, right around here, it's a couple $1 billion. Nationwide, you're talking... A couple billion with a B? Yeah, a couple $1 billion. You're in Colorado to the local industries. There's $640 billion. When you look at the overall impact of outdoor recreation, which a lot of that happens in and around our national parks, in our national forests, which are also seeing huge cuts. $640 billion of economic activity that's at risk. DOGE, just the DOGE process. Forget about all the cuts that we're seeing coming through from the House budget. But the DOGE firings were roughly between the U.S. Forest Service and the Department of Interior, which is national parks and others, Fish and Wildlife. But the two together, United States Forest Service and Interior, 6,000 people cut. I mean, that's a lot of people cut.
Well, Colorado Senator John Hickenlooper doing his job today from a ridiculously beautiful place. It's not all bad. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Nice talking to you.